Okay, a very good afternoon to all of you. I'm going to start with today's meeting. Let's start with the discussion of the assignment that I've given you. This is the assignment that has come from the department, and you need to complete the assignment and you need to send it to me on my number latest by today evening. Okay. So, and notice writing, we will be discussing that also today. Notice writing, you can do it. You can submit that assignment by Wednesday. Okay, I would just give you 2 or 3 notices. We would discuss notice, we would revise notice writing also. So the very first question is from your assignment, what ideology does the poem Aunt Jennifer's Tigers propound? First of all, I would like to ask you, what do you mean by ideology and propound? What are these words? Yes, raise your hands. What is the ideology? What do you mean by ideology and what is the meaning of this word propound? Yes, Pushpreet, can you just define ideology and propound?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, ideology is like ideas which form the basis of society or economic policies.
Okay, economic policies, ideas, or beliefs which form the basis of any society. And what do you understand by this word propound?
Propound means that what idea is given by this poem, what
Yes.
idea is
What
put
are the
forward by this
ideas
poem.
that are put forward by this particular poem? And yes, who would reply? Who would give the answer? What are the ideas that this particular poem puts forward? This was the assignment that I had already shared in your classroom so that you come prepared. So why is it again that I have the same students raising their hands? Yes, Malvika, you can give the answer.
The poem Aunt Jennifer's Tiger is clearly a feminist poem that
Yes,
tells about the male dominant society, and also it tells about how the male dominates the females in the society, and what all problems that women have to face in the society.
yes, it is all in all a feminist poem. It talks about feminism and it tells us how Aunt Jennifer, the protagonist of the story, how she's suppressed and how she's oppressed by her dominating husband. Okay, and how is the poem a forceful expression of the evil of patriarchy? What is patriarchy? Yes, Vishwajit, what is patriarchy?
Patriarchy is where where there is male dominance and where the male means male members are the head of the family.
Male members
So
are the head of the family, so male dominant
yes, ma'am.
society. So give the
Dominance,
answer
yes,
also.
ma'am.
Give the answer. How is the
Ma'am, so basically, ma'am, yes, ma'am. So it's a forceful expression of the evil of the patriarchy, as ma'am, as ma'am, Aunt Jennifer, ma'am, she is so scared of her husband that means when he is also not around her, then also she is scared of him as it is by the wedding band, and that she's feeling that the needle is very heavy for her to hold.
the
So
needle
so
is
these
heavy?
expressions,
Please carry on.
and needle is basically not heavy, but the burden of her husband's burden of her household work and the fear of her husband makes it heavy.
Yes,
Means she yes, ma'am.
yes, very good. It is not the physical exhaustion. It is not the physical pressure that
Yes,
she's
ma'am, but it's
feeling.
ma'am,
She's feeling mental.
mentally, ma'am, that's heavy for her. So, ma'am, this expression tells us that how it is dominant, how she is she has fear of her husband even when he is not around her.
Even when he is not around. Anything else which anybody wants to add? Anything
Wedding
else? Yes, he's talking.
band,
Boloman.
ring that is present in the finger is also symbolizes the burden of a strained relationship.
Yes, how much she's pressurized because of that, and how she feels trapped, in this unhappy marriage from which she cannot escape. What does the wedding band symbolize? What does the wedding band symbolize? Pushpreet, you can answer. Pushpreet.
Ma'am, the wedding band symbolizes the fear and the burden Aunt Jennifer feels from her husband. It shows the obligations of married life,
Obligations.
and
Yes.
and it shows that how she is burdened and burdened by her husband, and it had and his her life is not her own, and she
Yes.
don't have any
She
freedom.
feels she feels
She's
that she doesn't have any freedom. She feels that she doesn't have any identity. She feels that she's lost everything in her household chores and the fear of her husband, the mental suppression that she's going through. Yes. So next question is, what character traits of Aunt Jennifer come to light in the poem? What are the character traits? You can think over the answer. I don't want Vishwajit or Malvika or these students to answer. I want somebody else to answer. And the question was, what character traits of Aunt Jennifer come to light in the poem? Yes, in the report. Number 17, C2.
Aunt Jennifer come across as a tariffed and a fable person. She is totally lacking in the confidence. She is a victim of her domineering husband.
Domineering or dominant husband. Okay, she comes across,
Domineering, ma'am.
yes, domineering or dominant is the same thing. She comes across as a very feeble person who is totally lacking in confidence. And anything else which anybody wants to add? Anything else?
She is also terrified of her husband.
Ma'am,
Yes. What else?
ma'am, and the kind of freedom which she shows through the tigers is never achieved by her.
Yes, the kind of freedom that she tries to show through her embroidery is never. Next question is, where does Aunt Jennifer seek refuge on being victimized by the male world? Does she find her freedom? Where does she seek refuge on being victimized by the male world, male chauvinism, male world, male dominant society, patriarchal society? Does she find her freedom? Yes. Anybody from the class, not Malvika, somebody else? Somebody else to respond. Abhay, you can respond, and whosoever has joined late can, Abhay, just hold on. Let Gurkamal give the answer. Gurkamal. Whosoever has joined late today, you have to send a message on my number because I've already taken it, and this once more I would take it, but still, it would be better if you send a message. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Aunt Jennifer, she tries to find refuge in art, that is in embroidery, but even there, she cannot leave behind the weight of her conjugal life, and
Yes.
all the fears come to her mind even when she's doing the embroidery.
Even then, yes, very good. Even when she is doing when she's weaving the tigers on the feather, constantly she's thinking of her husband. Constantly she's in constant fear or dread of her husband at the moment he would enter in. What would he say? How he would scold her. So even while embroidering, she cannot escape from the terror of her husband, and she never finds her freedom even after her death. Do you think the poem has a veiled message in it? If so, what is it? What is a veiled message? Do you think the poem has a veiled message? First of all, tell me
Message.
what is a veiled message? Vishwajit, you said something.
छुपा हुआ message.
Yes, veil is
Hidden message.
Yes, a hidden message. So what is the message, Vishwajit?
Ma'am, so basically the message which the poem gives us is that the patriarchal society is suppressing suppressing the females, and they are not able to fulfill their dreams or fulfill whatever they want. They cannot fulfill that because of the fear and because of the pressure of the household on them.
Yes, the household duties that they have to fulfill, and not only the household duties, how they are dominating them, how they are suppressing them. So the message is that. Also, what is the hidden message? What is the hidden message? Yes, Kuntas, you want to add on something, right? Kuntas. Anybody else? Kuntas. What is the message? Anybody else? Vansh Arora, would you like to speak on something? Would you like to add on a few lines to it? What is the main message?
Yes, ma'am.
Bolo, bachcho, bolo.
Ma'am, in poem Aunt Jennifer's Tigers is a statement of one conflict in women, specifically between the impulse to freedom and imagination. Aunt Jennifer wants a life that she embroiders on the panel. She wants a colorful, vibrant life which every woman should have the power to create.
She wants a colorful life. This is Harmanpreet who is giving the answer. She wants a colorful life. She wants
Yes,
a
ma'am.
vibrant life. which every lady wants, every person wants to have, and Aunt Jennifer is not able to achieve it. Not only in her life is she able to get it, but even after her death, she's not able to get that. Why are the
Yes, ma'am.
tigers called Aunt? Yes, good. Why are the tigers called Aunt Jennifer's tigers? Aryajinder. Why are the tigers called Aunt Jennifer's tigers?
Yes, ma'am. The tigers are called Aunt Jennifer Tiger because they are her creation. She has knitted and embroidered the tigers on a screen. That's why they are called Aunt Jennifer
Yes,
Tigers.
because they are the part of her imagination, her creation. She has woven them, she has knitted them, she has embroidered them on a panel on a screen. So because they are her creation, that is why they are called Aunt Jennifer's tigers. How are the tigers different from the creator? Who is the creator? The creator is Aunt Jennifer. But how are the tigers different from the creator? Yes, I have the same students, Arya, Gurkamal, okay, Gulistan. Gulistan, you can give the answer. How are the tigers different from their creator?
Ma'am, the tigers are brave, confident, and strong. Unlike the creator, is very timid, frightened, and afraid of her husband.
Yes, she's very timid, she's very feeble, she's totally lacking in confidence, but the tigers are brave, they're majestic, they move around very freely and proudly, and that's it. What does prancing tigers symbolize? What does prancing tigers symbolize?
Ma'am, prancing tiger symbolizes the spirit of freedom that the aunt has within her, but is subdued and symbolizes her fears of her male counterpart. They move ahead fearless of obstacles to their freedom, and the aunt, in contrast, can't show her desire for freedom openly.
Yes, anybody else who would just, anybody else who can just repeat the answer? Abhay,
Yes, ma'am, prancing tiger symbolize the freedom of the tiger and their elegant and brave manner. Ma'am,
yes.
it is also a temporary escape for the for its creator as she suffers in the dominant world.
Yes, very good. Next is, how is Aunt Jennifer affected by the weight of matrimony? How is Aunt Jennifer affected by the weight of matrimony? How is she affected by the weight of matrimony? Yes. Okay, Kushpreet, you can respond.
Ma'am, Aunt Jennifer is badly affected by the weight of matrimony. Her condition, her condition has become so bad that she finds herself unable to lift even an ivory needle.
Yes.
The wedding band have become heavy for her, which means that she's burdened by her married life, and she has become weak mentally, and she have lost her freedom and dreams of world.
Yes. Okay, Alam, you want to add on something? Alam, ji. Alam, roll number 38. You want to add on something since you raised your hand? Alam,
She said, uh, yes, ma'am.
what
What
was
she
it?
said was right, and I just wanted to add that she also felt subjugated and she could not express her emotions or herself freely. There was always a feeling of suppression on her, which thwarted her to express her opinions.
Yes, she wanted to express herself, but she was never able to do so, and that is why she found this artistic outlet, through expressing herself through the art, through her creation, and the creations were the tigers on the panel. Where did Aunt Jennifer make tigers, and what will happen to them after her death? Very simple question. Where did she make the tigers, and what will happen to them after her death? Yes, good Kamal.
Yes, ma'am. So even after her death, the tigers will. She made the tigers on a panel, and even after her death, the tigers will be bold and free, and they will remain prancing across the screen.
Yes, they would just keep on proudly roaming around and dancing across the screen. Okay, do you think Aunt Jennifer is both a victim and an oppressor? Comment. You can agree with it and you can also disagree. You can say that she's only a victim and you can say that she's not an oppressor, or you can say that she's both a victim and an oppressor, and you need to justify your answer. Whatever your answer is, you need to justify it. Is she both a victim and an oppressor? Yes, Abhay.
Ma'am, yes, Aunt Jennifer is a victim of her husband domination, and she's not an oppressor. Uh, as she always found herself in a terrified condition whenever her husband is around or not, and
Yes. Even when he is not around, she feels stressed, she feels terrified, she feels total dread of her. Yes, Vishwajit wants to add on certain lines. Yes, you can add. Vishwajit.
What I think that she was a victim as of her husband's oppression, but she was also an oppressor, ma'am, because she
Yes.
were oppressing her own freedom and were oppressing her own rights and what she wanted to have. She just oppressed them inside her and never shared it with anyone.
Yes. So you can write it both ways, whatever you feel like, because in English, in literature, there's nothing else in literature language, nothing is right or wrong. Whatever you feel in, you need to justify your answer, and if you can thoroughly justify it, then full credit would be given to you. So if you feel that she is an oppressor, also you can write this point, and if you feel that no, she was just a victim and she was not an oppressor, then you can write that piece. Okay. And Vishwajit is perfectly right when he says that she oppressed her feelings, she oppressed her desires, she was herself responsible for her condition. So she was not only a victim, but she was an oppressor also. Next question is
Went.
Aunt Jennifer's efforts to get rid of her fear proved to be futile, proved to be useless. Comment. Yes. What were her efforts and how did her efforts prove to be futile? What were the efforts? Yes, Pushpi. Pushpi. No, just hold on, Pushpi. Hold on. Rhythm. D2.
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on.
Yes, ma'am. Aunt Jennifer's efforts to get rid of fear proved to be futile because as long as she lived, she could never get the freedom she longed for.
Yes.
The maximum she could do was embroider tigers on the canvas. The
Yes.
tigers actually symbolized her wish for freedom and from oppression and the fear she had.
Yes. Very good. Anything which anybody wants to add? Any point which is missed out? Anything which somebody feels that should be added to this answer? Or can you just repeat the answer? Because I saw your hand raised. Can you just repeat the answer? Okay.
ma'am, it proved to be futile because, ma'am, as long as she was she lived, she never get the freedom which she wanted. But ma'am, she has made an imaginary world through which she gained freedom, as
Yes.
she made tigers on a panel, and so it was her way to get freedom.
It was a way to get freedom, but all her efforts to get freedom they just to be useless because she could never get it in her life and also not after her life. You find an element of surprise in the poem. Is there an element of surprise in the poem? Alam, would you like to answer?
The element of yes, that even though the personality of the main character in the poem, the protagonist, is quite submissive, but through her art she creates a totally different personality.
A totally
That the
different,
tiger.
yes, her creation is in total contrast to what she herself is. She creates such a powerful image of the tigers, and she herself is a meek, feeble, mild, totally underconfident lady. So this is the element of surprise. The element of surprise lies in the fact that how a lady who is so mild, who is so feeble, who always lives in terror of her husband, creates such powerful images. And that of tigers who are totally confident, proud, and unafraid of any being or anything. So this is all about this poem. So this was the assignment that you have to complete and you have to send me by today evening. And as far as your textbook questions, I think the textbook questions and the answers are already there in the notes that I sent. Okay? So you have to complete the textbook questions along with these questions. This is your assignment. And what is a notice? You have been writing notices right from your sixth class onwards. So what is a notice? Notice is what is a notice? It is a written information or news announcement. Notices are either displayed at prominent places or they are published in newspapers or magazines. It is meant only for a select group Since a notice contains a formal announcement of information, its tone and style is formal and factual. So you have to keep this in mind that you have to write notices in a formal manner, a formal style and factual manner. Its language should be simple and formal and is always brief and to the point. And the important tips that are to be followed while writing a notice are: adhere to the specified word limit. And what is the word limit that is specified? It is 50 words. Write the word notice in capitals at the top. Name and place of the school, organization, or office issuing the notice should be mentioned. Give an appropriate heading and write the date of issuing the notice. Clearly mention the target group. What is the target group? What is the target group? Target
This the specified group where notice is prepared.
yes, किस group के लिए किसके लिए है वो notice, ठीक है? Then we have the purpose of the notice, कि किस लिए आप notice लिखते हो. That is important tips that you have to keep in mind, and some more things are there. Then I'll just show you all the relevant details like date, venue, time, signature, name, and designation of the person issuing the notice. And very important, put the notice in a box. I told you so many times, n number of times the other day, that you have to write the advertisements in a box. And still, there were some students who had not put them in a box. Priyanshu Saklani was one. There was other students also who had not put the advertisements in a box. If you will not put the advertisements or notices or whatever comes in your 4 marks in a box, and half a mark would be deducted for that. So please don't commit such a mistake. Always put 4 marks question, whatever comes in the 4 marks, notice, advertisements, invitations in a box. Okay, and format. This is how you have to. This is the layout of a notice. First thing is, at the top comes the name of the organization or the institution or the office issuing the notice, and keep it in mind that this has to be in capitals. Then write the word notice in the center, the next line, and on the left hand side of it, you have to write a date. Okay, and then heading or subject, and then here comes the content. In the space, write the contents of the notice. Then put the notice in a box. And then here comes the signature. Name in capital letters. Okay, you have to write signature here, put the signatures here, and then write the name in block letters, and then designation in brackets of the person issuing the notice. Okay, sign करोगे, उसके बाद नीचे capital letters में नाम लिखोगे, उसके बाद brackets में लिखोगे designation. So designation comes after the name and signature. There are certain students who have this habit of writing the designation first, so that would be wrong. Put the signatures, write the name in the next line in capital letters, and then in brackets write the designation. So this is how a notice is to be. This is the layout of the notice, and then comes these are the various points, value points for writing different notices. For example, you have to write a notice about a meeting. Then you have to keep in mind the date, time, name of the event, venue, that means place, what is the purpose, who is to attend, specific instructions if there are any, contact person or address. Then if you have to make an appeal, again, name of the event, name of the organizer, if any, objective, purpose, time, duration, place, wording of appeal. Wording कैसी होगी? कोई slogan हो सकता है. How you are going to appeal? Blood donation के लिए appeal है, उसके लिए कोई slogan आप लिख सकते हैं. Then contact address and specific instructions if any. Then we have notice for warning. So these are different kinds of points that you have to keep in mind for writing different notices. And then we have examples of notices, different examples of notices. Let us discuss 1 or 2 examples before this comes to an end. We still have around 10 minutes to go. Let's discuss a few examples. Okay, so as the secretary of the alumni association of your school, what do you mean by alumni? What is alumni? As the secretary of the alumni association of your school, what is alumni? Singular is alumnus. क्या होता है? Alumni क्या होता है?
A purana student, one ex-student.
हाँ जी, ex-student. उनका एक group बन जाता है. That is they become the alumnus. They become the alumni of the school. As the secretary of the Alumni Association of your school, write a notice announcing the meeting of the association to discuss the organization of annual alumni meet. Request all the members of the executive body to attend. Invent details of date, time, and place. Okay, so this is the name of the school as we did the layout. First comes the name of the school, Don Bosco School, New Delhi. So this is in capitals. Keep this thing in mind, and then comes the date. You can write the word notice in capitals, and again the heading, the title, it comes in capitals. This meeting of alumni executive body, and this is the content. All the members of the executive body of the Alumni Association are requested to attend a compulsory meeting on 20th July 2020 at 10 a.m. in the association office in the school. The agenda of the meeting is organization of alumni. The agenda of the meeting is organization of alumni's annual meet. And these are the signatures, and the name is Sukhen Shastri. तो आपने साइन कर दिया, उसके बाद आपने कैपिटल्स में नाम भी लिख देना है. Sometimes people have fancy signatures. People reading the notice don't come to know क्या नाम है. So आपने नाम लिखना है कैपिटल लेटर्स में. उसके बाद आपने ब्रैकेट में designation लिखना है, and the designation is secretary. Got it? So this is one example. We'll discuss more examples. This is sample 2. As the president of literary club of your school, draft a notice from school notice board inviting students of classes 8 to 12 for a literature quiz to be held in your school itself. Invent other necessary details. So the necessary details, you know it very well. Three important points that you have to keep in mind whenever you're writing a notice, and those points are date, time, and venue, the place where it will be held. So this is the name of the school in capital letters, then date, then the word notice, then literature quiz. So keep this thing in mind that everything here at the top comes in capital letters. Okay, so name of the school or the organization that is putting up the notice, the word notice, and the title, the heading that you give to the notice. All these three things have to be in capital letters. Okay, and you will write the date like this. You will not write 18/7/2020 or things like that. The literary circle of the school, these are the contents, is organizing a literature quiz for the students of class 8 to 12 on 30th July at 10 a.m. in the school auditorium. Interested students should register their names with Mrs. Anju Mohiri, activity in charge, latest by 22nd July. Okay, and then name is Sandhya Garg, and who is Sandhya Garg? President of Literary Club. So आप ये bracket में designation लिखोगे. So that is all about notices. I'm going to send you around 2 or 3 notices for practice, and that would be your assignment also. You have to complete the notices, and you have to complete question answers or textbook questions which are already there, in the notes that I gave you the other day, plus the question that we discussed today. That is all for today. Okay. Take care of yourself. Revise the topics that we have covered so far.